podcast. We are out here in the Gorge, the amazing Gorge, in Quincy, Washington. And there's an amazing show tonight with Natasha Bedingfield. Any fans here? OAR. Me, Michael Franti and Spearhead. And the amazing Train. And we have a super special guest on the show. You may not have heard of her unless you are obsessed with Instagram, as I am. Because she's one of my Instagram darlings. This is Taimane Gardner.
Aloha!
So, Taimane, a lot of people have probably never heard your music who are listening to this or watching this. And why don't you just give us a little flavor so that we can just start,
okay.
People understand kind of what you do.
Sure.
So Taimane, you are really good at the tuba. That's
well,
really
thank you.
Tell us about your instrument. What do you play there?
It is called an ukulele, also known as the ukulele.
Yep.
I've been playing since I was 5, and I've traveled the world playing ukulele.
Nice.
That's what I do.
So
love it.
You started at 5, and how is it that you came to be playing ukulele at 5? Where were you living, or where are you from?
Well, I'm born and raised from Oahu, Hawaii, and everyone pretty much has an ukulele
Are you from
in
Oahu?
their house.
No, I have family down there.
Okay,
Nice.
all right, yeah.
Nice, yeah. Well, every person, every family has an ukulele in their house, and so it's kind of hard not to play ukulele over there. And so, I kind of sort of picked it up and played in front of the mirror and broke a string, and then my dad decided to get me some lessons, and I am a ham. I love playing on stage. I feel more comfortable on stage rather than off stage.
Why is that?
I don't know. I'm just I'm very introverted. I don't really say anything, but then when I can get on stage, I can I don't know, let this fire out of me. This it's contained, but then when I'm up there, I let it out.
You let it out.
Yeah.
I want to come back to that, but I want to go really, really deep first. So you grew up in Hawaii. Are your parents Hawaiian, native Hawaiian?
No, so my dad's from Arizona, and my mom is from Samoa, which is a Polynesian island, about 5 hours flight from Hawaii. And then they both met in Hawaii. My mom was at Kailua Beach, and then my dad was, watching her and stalking her a little bit. Was stalking her, and then decided to get the guts and ask her out. And they started dating and had me and my sister.
Yeah.
And born and raised from Oahu, but absolutely love it.
And what was your house like? Was it filled with music as you were growing up as a kid, or was it just every single house has a ukulele? Or were your parents particularly into music?
Well, my mom is a dancer slash singer, and she was Miss Samoa in the Miss Universe pageant back in her day. So she's very musical and loves to be on stage, while my dad is very business. He's a business. He doesn't have any, talent in that way, but he's very talented with teaching me the work ethic that I think is very, important to be able to do this as a job.
Yeah. And so then you started playing when you were 5. At what point did you realize this is something that's really important for me in my life, or was just something that kind of drifted and you just kind of got better as you went on, or did you know right away from early on that this is something you were super passionate about?
Even before the ukulele, I've always enjoyed being on stage. And I remember this ballet recital, and I was 3, and I was just bossing all the other girls around, telling them where to stand, how to dance. And I think my dad and my mom kind of got an inkling that I enjoyed being in front of a camera or on stage. And so my dad got me my ukulele. And, I never thought of it as this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to become this ukulele player. It's just I really enjoy being on stage, and so this, was a tool for me to be able to share that. And then I think around 11, 12 was kind of when I started thinking, okay, maybe I can do this.
Yeah.
Before that, I was just doing contests. I was actually busking on the streets in Waikiki around 7 years old. And I loved it. And I think around 11, 12 years old, I started thinking, okay, I got my first gig with this guy named Don Ho, and he's basically
Tiny Bubbles.
Yeah, Tiny Bubbles. He's like a Hawaiian Elvis.
Yeah.
And he gave me my first job, and then from there on, I was like, okay, professional ukulele player. Let's do it.
That's awesome. And so then, when you got into your teenage years, was it always that you were listening to traditional Hawaiian music or ukulele music, or were you inspired by other forms of music just on the radio? What was your thing?
Well, I grew up listening to oldies, but I really enjoy classical music. I love classical. I love metal. I love Pink Floyd. I don't really listen to Hawaiian tradition. It's funny because that's all you hear in Hawaii. Yeah. Whenever you walk down the street or if you're in a hotel, you hear traditional Hawaiian.
It's like the tourist mantra. Exactly. Just pulls money out of their wallets.
Exactly, right? And growing up there, it's around, but I never actually listened to it. I was listening to, something else that's a little more international, and I think that actually comes through when I play ukulele. That was somewhat flamenco Portuguese, which is funny because that's originally where the ukulele is from.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. It's not even a Hawaiian
So how
instrument.
did it end up in Hawaii? Do you know the history of it?
Mm-hmm. So it's a Portuguese instrument that came from an island called Madeiros, and it was brought over by the Portuguese cowboys.
Wow.
There's some cowboys who came to Hawaii, and when the Hawaiians saw them play this instrument, they named it the ukulele. And uku means flea, and lele means jumping. And so that's kind of how it got its name, because when they saw the fingers going like that, it reminded them of jumping fleas. So that's how the ukulele got its name.
Wow. That's a really cool name.
Yeah, right? Yeah, and then we just kind of like adopted it into Hawaiian culture. And then that's what you think of, when you think of Hawaii. Ukulele.
So then as a teenager, what were you into as a teenager? Just music, or was ballet still part of it? Or
boys.
Boys, okay.
Drinking.
Drinking, yeah.
And performing. By that time, I was performing regularly. But, I was interested in what regular teenage girls were interested in at that time.
Well, let's talk about that a little bit.
Okay.
So boys and drinking, I mean, that's a recipe for trouble when you're like 13.
Oh, it was the best time. It was the best time. I hope I don't get in trouble for saying this, but I would sneak out when I was like 13 and 14, and my girlfriend and I would meet up with boys, and, she gave me my first drink. I think I was like 15 at the time when I had my first beer, and we had a lot of fun. Hawaii is a beautiful place to live, so it wasn't hard to find places to hang out.
Yeah.
But,
and what was the greatest challenge for you, like as a teenager? What was the hardest thing for you going through that time?
That is a very good question. Hardest thing. Sorry, I'm thinking about this
That's
one.
Okay.
That's a
Take your
tough
time.
one. I'm trying to relate.
To relating to other teenagers or relating to adults or both?
Sorry.
Okay.
I'm an artist. I always cry.
Okay.
I guess trying to relate to other kids.
What was hard about that?
Just this is a beautiful thing, but it's also just so different for other people to understand. And I grew up having a really tough childhood. Just like that work ethic is great, but it was also like I could never hang out with friends. I could never be a normal teenager. So, but I'm super thankful for that as well, because if I didn't have that, I would not be here playing music with you and traveling the world. It's just amazing. So it's a blessing in disguise.
Did you feel that pressure from your family at first, or?
Mostly my father.
Father,
yeah. He was.
Dads can be that way. My dad can be a real prick that way.
Really?
Yeah. He'd be a real prick. Why can't you hit a baseball? Why don't you shoot enough free throws? Why did you get a B- on your test? It was a constant thing like that, and I felt it. And like you said, it drove me to be an ambitious, driven, hardworking person. But there had to become a sort of like a crossover point for me where I felt like this is my own thing now. Like I'm really expressing myself in the way that I want to, and not just listening to somebody who's a coach or a teacher or a parent telling me what I'm supposed to do.
Mm-hmm.
You
Yeah.
know? And so was there a point for you when you felt like, well, I'm putting all this time into it and people are telling me you got to work hard, but was there a point for you where you felt like a crossover, like now this is becoming my own thing? Or was it always that way for you?
Well, when I was around 15, I started rebelling. You know, just kind of, it was very controlling, you know. And my dad would tell me what to wear, you know, what to play and what to do. And so, like, 15, I remember,
like in a sort of stage dad kind of way?
Yeah, oh, yeah. He was I don't know, you call it a momager, like a dadager.
A damager?
But, you know, I knew, you know, he was doing what he thought was best. But I think it was 15, I started I wanted to wear different clothes, and that was tough. But I think when I was 18, going to college was, you know, a huge change for me, and being able to go to these other places that my dad never really appreciated or wanted me to go, but I started finding my individuality in that way. And I'm still having that, you know, that change happen, but, you know, experience definitely gives you that confidence, that personality.
Well, let's talk about then when you started getting out and doing your own thing. Like, did you
Sorry
write?
for crying,
That's
you guys.
okay. We appreciate
I
your
know, you're like, oh
vulnerability.
God, what did I get myself into?
At what point did you start writing your own songs? Like,
5.
5.
I wrote my first song called "I Am a Ducky, Ducky, Ducky," and it was about a duck and swimming in a pond. Yeah,
Nice.
that was my first one. It was on piano.
Do you still remember it?
Let's see if I remember it.
All right.
I'm a ducky, 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 and I swim in a pond. And the pond is not cold for me because I'm a duck. I'm a ducky, 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 I go quack, quack, quack. Oh yes, I'm a ducky for sure. Yeah. That was like my first. Thanks.
That's a hit.
Yeah.
What is
collaborate? Yeah.
What's your musical mission? What do you want to bring to the world through your music and your voice?
That is a good question. You know, playing this instrument is so unique and different. A lot of people, you know, when you think of ukulele, you think of, you know, something, you know, which is beautiful, but it has so much potential. And so I guess my mission is to show how unique and how versatile this instrument can be. And then I just love being on stage, and, you know, I love collaborating, and I love sharing that energy for sure. Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Cool. Let's ask some questions. You guys have any questions for Taimane? Think of some.
When you're not making music.
Okay. Good question. What do you do when you're not making music?
I enjoy cleaning my house, which is like a really weird thing to say, but when you're like touring or on the road, it's really hard to be at home. And so being at home and like watching a movie, making my own food, cleaning, you know, that's what I do. Yeah.
What kind of satisfaction does that give you?
Grounding, for sure.
Because I love to sweep. That's what I'm asking.
Really?
I love to sweep out my house. And the first thing when I sweep the whole house.
Wow.
And it's just like a thing that makes me feel like I think about what I'm doing in the day. It's like, you know, has a benefit that the house gets cleaned, you know?
Yeah, no, you
But
see it. You see it really right after.
But is there something for you that's about like cleaning up, that putting things in where they belong, that does, you know, what does it do for you?
I mean, like you said, like once you clean, you automatically see the benefit, and it's nice to have a clean house, and it kind of puts your brain in order as well. And so you know, I always promise myself, okay, you're gonna clean, and then you're gonna work on the ukulele. But I end up cleaning, and then just, you know, laying around the house, just admiring the cleanliness.
Does that help you as an artist? Or you just lay around and admire?
I just watch movies. Does it help me as an artist? I mean, I don't think I'd be able to write or work on stuff if my place was a mess. It would bother me too much. And so cleaning definitely helps in that way. Musically wise, not really. I just, you know, I like having a clean house.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't like dishes though. I don't like dishes, and I don't like mopping or sweeping. So you're always welcome.
Okay, I'll come over and do that for you. Who are your artists that you love? Like, what are some other artists out there that you feel a kinship with, or that you inspire you on a regular basis? Like,
yeah, well, Rihanna, love Rihanna. I mean, that fire, you can see that fire.
Yeah,
and
I can
she
see
like
that in you.
inspires me in that way. I love classical music, just
What
because
do
it
you
makes
like
sense.
about classical?
It makes sense. Like, I mean, sure, mathematically wise, but just it's pleasing to the ear, and it's complicated. You know, it's not the normal 4/4. It's not the normal chords. It goes places. There's like a journey to the music. Yeah.
That's cool. Do you have any other questions?
Yeah.
I do.
Yeah.
Where do you see yourself in 5 years? What are your plans for the next 5 years?
I plan to go around the world sharing this music with as many people as possible. In whatever shape or form that means, I'm open to, but I love what I do. And I want to keep sharing it with as many people as I can. Yeah.
Do you find it challenging to be a woman in music?
Yeah. I enjoy it, though. I do.
What are the challenges?
I enjoy that challenge.
What are the challenges of being a woman?
Well,
today in music?
especially with this instrument, an ukulele,
Yeah.
you know, many people don't take it seriously. And then, they, you know, as a woman, they don't take you seriously. And so being able to rock it super hard after and seeing that change is satisfying.
Yeah.
But there are, you know, there's different energies. There's male energy, which has a place, and then I think there's a feminine energy too that's just as important. I mean, women are beautiful to look at. You know, why not have that on stage? And then when you have like someone like Rihanna who can kill it, that's like represent. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. It brings that fire and that female energy together at the same time, and it's like unstoppable.
You put together, we put it together, and it's beautiful. It's soft. It's hard. You know, when a guy can be soft, and then when a woman can be hard, it's.
And you sing as well?
I do.
Can we hear you sing a little something? Besides Rubber Duckies? Yeah, we like the Duckies. So you just do that one again, as far as I'm concerned. But
okay, I'll do a little something for you.
Because I've heard you sing, and I know, so I'm just kind of being selfish here.
Okay, well, I'm going to do a song called Mars. And there's actually a chant. It's by the Maoris. It's called the Haka. And the reason why I picked this chant is because Mars is the god of war and the god of chaos. And so it's nice to have that in this. So there's some playing, and then there's a little bit of singing in there, and then some playing. So
all right.
Here we go.
We're with you.
Kamate kaora kaora kamate kamate kaora kaora tenete tangata huru huru na na ikiki mai whakawhiti te kamate kamate kaora kaora kamate kamate kaora kaora tenete tangata huru huru na na ikiki mai whakawhiti te
I could feel that fire.
Thank you.
All right, I just got a couple more questions for you. The first one is, what kind of words of wisdom or advice do you have for other women, especially teens? You know, my teenage years were so hard. I feel, you know, my wife actually was seeing this baby the other day. She's like, God, it would be so great to be a 15-month-old baby again. You just get taken care of and you go over here, your dad bounces you on your knee, and I'm thinking, 15-month-old baby is awesome. But then I got to go through like 12, 13, and 14 again.
Yeah.
So fuck that. I don't want to be any part of that. And so what advice do you have especially for teens?
Honestly, find a good pair of friends that you can be yourself with. You know, at that age, you're always like trying to like hang out with the cool kids and like how you want that. But I think if you find a good pair of friends who actually care for you, it'll make the difference in the world for sure. And I guess like find an outlet, whatever that is, whether it's art, whether it's cleaning, you know, do what you love. And then, you know, I feel like everything will fall into place. If you do what you love, you have a good work ethic, your passion will become, I guess, how you make a living.
Yeah, right on.
Yeah.
Thank you. And then the final thing is that we call this the Stay Human podcast. And I ask everybody the same thing. Okay. Which is, how is it that in this world that is so dehumanizing at times, you know, we judge everybody by like the number in their bank account or their social security number. Are you a Democrat, Republican, all these stupid things that we judge people by. How do you hold on to your humanity in this world, in this time?
Good question. For me, I have to stay grounded, and yoga definitely helps for me with that. Yeah. I think socializing at this point in time is very important because we're so encapsulated in the technology, which is great, but it's taking over our humanity. And so I think socializing and, I don't know, do something new, go somewhere new, and try and smile at that person, even though if they don't like smile back, just like smile at them until they smile at you, or they'll give you a weird look, but at least they'll like have a reaction. So I guess just be social, get out there.
Nice.
Yeah.
That's awesome. Well, how can folks find you? Speaking of socializing, how can they find you on social media and follow you like I found you?
Yeah, well, you found me on Instagram, which is Taimane Gardner.
How do you spell it?
Taimane Gardner. Or you can just look up Ukulele Woman, and I will pop up on Google. I have no idea how I was named that, but yeah, Ukulele Woman, or just taimane.com. Yeah.
Well, thank you so much for being here. It was really inspiring just to hear a little bit of your story and where the fire and passion comes for what you do. And I know that everybody here is going to want to check out more of what you do online. And we're super grateful to have had you out on tour with us for a few days. Producing all these shows. And so just thank you very much.
Thank you. Thanks, Michael. Thank you to you guys.
Give it up for Taimane Gardner from the Gorge here in Quincy with Natasha Bedingfield, OAR, Train, Michael Franti, and Taimane Gardner. This is the Stay Human podcast. We love you, and remember, stay human!